Alrighty, all. I've just finished adding a little bit of code to SMC Master. I ran into a little bit of a problem using the software when using it on a very small account, like $1,000 or less. And that was only when using it on something like gold, because on $1,000 account, if you use the smallest possible lot size on gold, 0.01 lots, then you can have your stop loss. I should have come up with some figures to suit, but you can have the stop loss about 1,000 points away and still maintain a 1% risk. And what, let me just keep running this, what SMC Master and Volatility Master do is they will place the stop loss based off the closest bit of market structure. In this case, it'll be on the 5-minute time frame. And let me just pause it for a second. Now let's say, all right, we've got the red's the top of the range, the blue's the bottom at the moment, or that'll end up being further. If the market broke above and took out a buy order, it took out a buy order here, it's going to want to place a stop loss below that blue line, which at the moment is 5,500 points away. Okay, so that would be, if it did that on $1,000 account using the smallest possible lot size, it would still be risking 5% of your account balance. Now, even if you had it set at 1%, two possibilities. If you had your software set at 1% risk, it could still place a stop loss here and you could potentially take a 5% loss. Or if you had your maximum loss only set at 1 or 1.5%, then even though the stop loss is here, the software is going to close the trade about here because it's assumed that the largest possible loss that you're allowing it to do. So if it comes all the way to here and takes a 5% loss, the problem there is that you're taking a much larger loss than you're wanting because you've set it at only 1% risk per trade. And the other potential scenario, if it closed out early, you're still only losing your 1%, but you're losing it way too early because the whole idea of this EA and good trading is to place your trades and your stop losses based off market structure. So if you took out a trade here, the stop loss needs to go down below here. So either way, it's not preferable, and you're potentially going to take a bigger loss or a lot more smaller losses than you should be taking. So what I've come up with here is some settings, and I'll show you the settings shortly. Just want to let this take out a trade, and I'll show you what it will do. Anyway, so I've come up with settings so that, for example, if the market fulfilled all the criteria and it tried to take out a buy order here, but the market structure, the bottom of that range, was further away than the maximum stop loss setting that you've got in there, then it just won't take out the trade. So that will ensure that even on a small account, it will either assume a 1% risk or less based off market structure, so no closing early. So it totally eliminates that problem on small accounts. So you can rest assured, leaving it set hand-free, that will only take out a good trade, only have a risk 1%, and that 1% will always be below market structure, not somewhere in between because of a max loss setting. hopefully that makes sense. I mean, all of these little videos are specifically to go through settings to help you understand them. But if you don't, jump on our Sunday night Zooms or reach out to me otherwise, and we'll go through them so you understand them. But essentially, this setting you won't need to use on a larger account. It's specifically designed if you're using a smaller account. The only issue is that there will be a lot of trade setups that it won't take because it would be assuming too much risk. So you can still trade gold, but you won't be getting as many trades as if you were trading it on a larger account. And particularly when gold is being extra volatile. So at the moment, already today or this day, what are we trading? 21st of October. The market's already moved 1,312 pips. So that's quite a big bit of movement for the day. So quite volatile. That's why, from there to there was a 5,000 point drop. So on a day like today, like this day, you wouldn't want to be trading it on a small account because it's just being too volatile, even at the smallest lot size. So the software now with this setting would say, yep, it's too volatile today. We're not even going to trade because it's too small of an account. And now if your account's larger, it would trade. And if the market hasn't been as volatile and you've got a small account, it will still trade as well. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense. I'm just waiting for this to take out a trade here. So we're still looking for buy order. So when it breaks above the red line, it would take out a trade and it would put a stop loss just below the blue line, which is 2,700 points. So, if you took out a trade on a $1,000 account, 0.01 lot size trade, you'd be risking 2.7% on this particular trade setup, which is more than you want. So it's not going to take the trade. I mean, I don't think I've got it set to do that on this one, but if you can imagine that, it would take out a trade right here, which it will do shortly. And the stop loss would go here, but that would be risking more than your 1%. So up here we've got the software set to this is on a larger account though. So it's got it set to trade 1% risk. I'll set it up on a $1,000 account here shortly and show you the difference. I'll just stop now, but I'll just change it so that it's only trading a $1,000 account. Oops. Don't look at that. That's the secret code for the software. Okay, so here we are. If I start it now, hang on, just let me stop for a second. If I have a look at the settings, I'll show you those settings first, and then I'll go through a couple of things and how to use it. So the new setting is just this one here. Only trade if range is less than stop loss. All righty. So if it's trying to place a stop loss that far away that it's going to make your so we're trying to trade a 1% risk. So if the software calculates that the stop loss needs to go too far away in order to assume a 1% risk, then it's not going to trade if you set that to true. All right. And it's going to be based off the maximum stop loss. So normally on a large account, I'll leave it at least 5,000 or even more, just a big number so that it's not using it. But the point is we've got it set at a 1% risk. So if we turn it on like that, it's going to tell us up here when it starts the lot size that it would use if there we go. Just pause that. If Yeah, so if you want to assume a 1% risk and the stop loss gets placed at the maximum stop loss distance, which in this case is 5,000, then you would need to have a 0.002 lot size trade. And the smallest lot size you can possibly have is 0.01, which is 5 times this distance. So potentially on these settings, it could take out a trade and it would be risking 5%, even though you got it set at 1. Alrighty, so if you're trading a small account, this is what you should do. I'll cut to the chase. All right, $1,000 account, 1,000 US dollar account. We're going to set the maximum stop loss at 1,000 and the risk at 1%. That's if you want to assume a 1% risk. And when we started on that, we can see that the lot size, if it was at that maximum distance of 1,000 points, would be 0.01. So that means that this will always just be assuming a 1% risk. And now you would just set this one to true so that it would only trade if the stop loss is a maximum of 1,000 points away. If it wants to put it further away, then it won't trade it. So that's what we want. If for example, you wanted to trade a 1.5% risk, obviously you could have the stop loss further away. So now it should say 1.5% risk and 0.01 lot size still. So 1.5% risk, so still 0.01, but we can now let the stop loss be further away if necessary. All right, well, if that was confusing, guys, we'll have to have a chat in person or on Zoom sometime. But all you really need to know is that you need to set this up so that it's, if you're on a small account, so that it's no less than 0.01 lot size showing here. And if you have that only trade if less than range turn to true, then you're not going to have any troubles. If you've got a large account, you won't have to worry about any of this. And you know what I do with my larger accounts is I just have that set to false, and I have the max stop loss just a large number. You'd have to have it at least 5,000 though, otherwise potentially, as we saw here, that other scenario, it was 5,700 away, and then you'll be good to go. The only account that I'm actually trading, which is small enough for me to need to do this, is the copy trading account, because I intentionally want to copy from a small account so that it's very similar to the majority of other people that are copying. And if you want to copy a large account via copy trading, then it doesn't matter. It can, the copy trading software will allow for that, but there would be an issue if you're copying a smaller account than me, potentially. All right, guys, that's just that setting. That's been my little bit of weekend homework that I've done, because I did run into an issue the other week before last, where the copy trading account, which I normally have set to risk 1% per trade, it did lose a much larger amount than 1%. So I've been very, very cautious trading gold until I decided how to proceed. I was thinking about making it a larger account, but that would come with other issues for some people. So I did what a good coder does. I did some coding and fixed the issue. All right, guys, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again soon.